Time now for this morning's front page for September 29th, 2023. Breaking news this morning. Senator Dianne Feinstein, a trailblazer in U.S. politics and the longest-serving woman in the Senate, has died at age 90. She was a vocal advocate of gun control measures, was also known for trying to find common ground with Republicans during her 3 decades in the Senate. She has died, according to two sources familiar with the matter. Feinstein, the oldest member of the Senate, is the longest-serving female senator and longest-serving senator from California. Announced in February she planned to retire at the end of her term. She had faced calls for resignation over concerns about her health. A centrist Democrat, she was known for trying to find common ground with Republicans, sometimes drawing criticism from her party's liberal members. She parted with them on a number of issues, including opposing single-payer, government-run health care and the ambitious Green New Deal climate proposal, which she argued was politically and fiscally unfeasible. Dianne Feinstein, dead at age 90. Also breaking news this morning, the Supreme Court will decide if state laws limiting social media platforms violate the Constitution. This from the Associated Press. The Supreme Court agreed today to decide whether state laws that seek to regulate Facebook, TikTok, X, and other social media platforms violate the Constitution. The justices will review laws enacted by Republican-dominated legislatures and signed by Republican governors in Florida and Texas. While the details vary, both laws aim to prevent social media companies from censoring users based on their viewpoints. The court's announcement, 3 days before the start of their new term, comes as justices continue to grapple with how laws written at the dawn of the digital age or earlier apply to the online world. The justices already agreed to decide whether public schools can block critics from commenting on their social media accounts, an issue that previously came up in a case involving then-President Donald Trump. The court dismissed the Trump case when his presidential term came to an end in January of 2021. In politics this morning, USA Today is bringing up takeaways from the first Biden impeachment hearing. House Republicans worked to establish a basis to impeach President Joe Biden, even as witnesses they invited said they lacked evidence, or there was a lack of evidence, that the president benefited financially from foreign business dealings of his son Hunter Biden in exchange for steering U.S. policy. Representative James Comer, the Republican from Kentucky, chairman of the House Oversight and Accountability Committee, opened the Republicans' first impeachment inquiry hearing, accusing the Bidens and their associates of creating 20 shell companies that raked in more than $20 million, including when President Biden was vice president. What were the Bidens selling to make all this money? Asked Comer. Joe Biden himself. Yet all three witnesses, including a constitutional lawyer and forensics expert brought in by the Republicans during the 6-hour hearing, told lawmakers the committee does not yet have evidence of an impeachable offense, that Joe Biden received payments and was bribed. The witnesses instead urged the committee to open an impeachment inquiry and keep digging. The Oversight Committee has been issuing subpoenas. They started last night, and they go for Biden family business records. This from Fox News. House Oversight Committee Chairman James Comer issued 3 subpoenas last night for the personal and business bank records belonging to President Biden's son Hunter and his brother James Biden as part of the House impeachment inquiry. Comer, the Republican from Kentucky, who signaled earlier this month his intention to subpoena those records, did so just hours after the first hearing as part of the House impeachment inquiry against President Biden. Fox News Digital reviewed the subpoenas. The subpoenas have redactions over the names of the banks. It's unclear which financial institutions were subpoenaed for those records. The subpoenas compel records including account statements, direct deposits, cashier's checks, wire transfers, electronic transfer payments, credit and debit card records, loan documents, and other records related to Hunter Biden, his shell companies Owasco PC and Owasco LLC, Scanlatellis, there we go, business associate Eric Schwerin, James Biden, Lion Hall Group, LLC, and JBBSR Incorporated. The New York Civil Court has refused to delay the Trump penalty portion of his fraud trial. This from USA Today. A New York court yesterday, rejected Donald Trump's request to delay a civil trial after a judge ruled Trump committed fraud for years while building his real estate empire. New York Supreme Court Justice Arthur Engoron ruled yesterday that Trump, or make that Tuesday, that Trump committed fraud in overstating the value and misstating the square footage of properties for bank loans. He scheduled a non-jury trial to begin next Monday to determine penalties, with State Attorney General Letitia James seeking $250 million. Trump argued the state appeals court that Engoron failed to follow rulings that would have narrowed the allegations at the heart of the lawsuit, but the appeals court turned aside that challenge. Engoron estimated the trial to determine penalties could last 3 months. The case is one of a handful of civil and criminal trials Trump faces in the next year as he campaigns for president. Also from CNN, Speaker McCarthy does not have the votes to stop a government shutdown. Congress remained on track this morning to trigger a government shutdown this weekend, as House Speaker Kevin McCarthy appears to lack the votes to pass a GOP stopgap bill to extend government funding. Facing the most significant challenge to his leadership to date, McCarthy risks provoking a major confrontation with hardline conservatives if he tries to push through a one-month funding extension, as they argue Congress should instead focus on passing full-year spending bills. House GOP leadership is hoping that border security provisions tucked into the temporary measure will force the hardliners' hands. If McCarthy seeks help from Democrats to pass the extension, he could prompt conservatives to move to oust him from the speakership. By the way, Speaker McCarthy and Matt Gaetz, the congressman from Florida, had an apparent serious dust-up in a closed-door meeting. USA Today reports that Representative Matt Gaetz got into a heated exchange with House Speaker Kevin McCarthy in a closed-door meeting that, as tensions between the lawmakers on the Hill grow amid a looming government shutdown, according to reporters. Gaetz told the Hill that he asked McCarthy whether the speaker was paying for people to create a false negative sentiment about him online. His question came after Rogan O'Handley, a conservative commentator, posted a screenshot of a message on X, the platform known as Twitter, that he claimed came from a McCarthy ally to promote a post against Gaetz and the government shutdown. Gaetz retweeted the post and wrote that McCarthy was pathetic. McCarthy, however, denied the allegations, saying he did not waste his time or money on Gaetz. This, according to CNN, which first reported the exchange. House speakers, or make that House Republicans, have adopted an amendment to cut the defense secretary's salary to $1. This from USA Today. The House voted to approve an amendment from Representative Marjorie Taylor Greene, the Republican from Georgia, to cut Secretary of Defense Lloyd Austin's salary to $1. This happened on Wednesday, a move that comes amid growing tension in the House to avert a government shutdown. Secretary Austin has not fulfilled his job duties, said Greene on the House floor. As a matter of fact, he's destroying our military. She criticized Austin for his handling of military recruitment and the withdrawal of Afghanistan on the House floor, and said in a video on X after the House vote that there's a loss in confidence in Lloyd Austin's leadership and he deserves to be fired. Now moving to news from the States, Hawaii, the Maui fire cause has so far been called unknown, according to Hawaiian Electric CEO. This from USA Today. The deadly wildfire that killed 97 people in Maui started from an unknown cause in the afternoon, was unrelated to a blaze earlier in the day, sparked by downed power lines, according to the president of Hawaii's primary utility, speaking with congressional leaders. The lawmakers did not get a lot of other concrete answers to their questions about the fire as national leaders look for causes and possible repercussions. Hawaiian Electric CEO Shali Kimura said it may take months for investigations to wrap up. Quote, "We all want to learn what happened on August 8th so it never happens again," said Kimura, talking with the U.S. House Energy and Commerce Subcommittee on Oversight and Investigations. Hawaiian Electric serves 95% of the state's 1.4 million residents. Out of New York, teens have been arrested in New York for the 3D printing of ghost guns. This from USA Today. 3 people, including 2 minors, were arrested after ghost guns and a 3D printer were recovered from an unlocked room at a state-licensed daycare facility, according to New York City officials. The arrests were related to a long-term investigation into the manufacture and sale of ghost guns, also known as privately made firearms, according to Rebecca Weiner. She is the New York City Police Department's Deputy Commissioner of Intelligence and Counterterrorism. Police said they found multiple 3D printed firearms at a private residence in East Harlem. Karen Coley, 18 years of age, was arrested for his involvement in the 3D printing firearms in his mother's home, which police said was operating as a licensed daycare center. Coley faces charges of illegal firearms possession, manufacturing of an assault weapon, and reckless endangerment. Out of Florida today, a teacher and Disney employees are among 219 people arrested in a human trafficking operation. This from Fox News. A Polk County, Florida human trafficking operation earlier this month has led to the arrests of 219 people, including people in the country illegally, a high school teacher, and 3 Disney employees, this according to authorities. Polk County Sheriff Grady Judd on yesterday, announced the results of the operation, saying out of 119 prostitutes who were arrested during the operation that began last week, 21 were possible victims of human trafficking. 2 suspects were charged in the human trafficking case. Both were here in the U.S. illegally. Freddie Escalona, 30 years of age, and Maria Guzman, 36, were charged with human trafficking and deriving proceeds from prostitution. In news of space, black dust and debris were found on the avionics deck of a canister containing the first deep space asteroid sample captured in U.S. history. NASA scientists made the discovery after the aluminum lid was removed from the OSIRIS-REx mission canister, which completed its 7-year-long mission. The dust is presumed to be part of the sample, a spokesperson for NASA's Johnson Space Center told Fox News, adding that scientists plan to conduct a quick look analysis on it. It was expected there was always a part of the curation procedures to find extra material. After launching in September of 2016, OSIRIS-REx observed and collected samples from Bennu, a carbon-rich asteroid with a long stick vacuum. Some of the sample contents were lost due to a jammed door after collection. The ship began its journey back to Earth on May 10th, 2021. And that is today's front page.